Welcome back to the Cruise Dynasty Podcast. We are back at it again, doing these rookies, but tonight we're doing rookie wide receivers. I got the Craft Man with me as always. What's going on, Craft Man?
Nothing much. Just got done doing the little winners episode. It was fun. I called in a little bitch, and he's not here for this episode. So I guess, the truth came out. He left. He couldn't take it. So, I like thick-skinned people. So, I don't know.
He's soft, man. Soft. Talking about all that passion.
Talking about all that Jamal Williams passion.
Shout out to Ian. We doing wide receiver rookie rankings. We got a top 10. We're gonna throw out some sleepers for everybody. But before we do, check out our other rookie rankings. We did quarterbacks and tight ends, and then we did running backs. Check them out. Hopefully, Crab Man, we'll get to get our tech guy Chris on here, and maybe get the poor man on here, and we'll get their draft reactions at some point. See what they thought. Crew Matt Hamm, follow me on Twitter. Craftman Pack Fan. 5-star review. Anything else, Craftman, before we get started? Is that it?
No, nothing much. Follow us on Twitter. Like you said, we're going to post all our rankings. We got our rookie rankings. We went pretty deep into our dynasty rankings. I mean, I'm about 40 receivers deep in my top 40, top 36 running backs, top 36 quarterbacks. I mean, we're way in it right now. So just follow the rankings and tell us where you agree and disagree. And if you're new to fantasy, just follow the rankings because we put a lot of work in it, and hopefully we hit on more than we miss.
Agreed. And hopefully we're going to have some real detailed rankings coming on out. We've been working on some stuff behind the scenes. Craft Man, my top 5 wide receivers, and I'm going to go ahead and start it off spicy tonight, man. Taking me a couple shots, and hit me a couple bowls at Cinco de Mayo. I'm just starting it off right. Number 1, Jordan Addison. I think Jordan Addison's been underrated through this whole process. And the way I view this landing right here is Jordan Addison and Justin Jefferson, they're the next duo. They're the next Tyreek Hill and Waddle. They're the next A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith. This is the next one right here. Jordan Addison pretty much was the best wide receiver in college for a long stretch of time. I think people are down on him because he got a little banged up. He didn't go off at USC, and that seemed like it was just a hell of a situation, which it was, but the dude was banged up. So I think it kind of took a little shine off Jordan Addison. But this dude right here, number 1. What do you say, Crap Man? I'll just stop at number 1 just because I figured we should address it.
Yeah, that's spicy, and I do not like it, not one bit, because I do not like Jordan Addison. So I like the landing spot. But I got to tell you a story. We were sitting here watching the draft. We just had Ian on, who is all about the passion. And before the draft, Ian said, this is before everything started. He said, I like the players who come up there in their interviews after they get drafted and say, I'm going to work hard. I'm going to do this. He said, I don't like the guys who come up and say it's time to get paid. What did Jordan Addison do? He had his suit laced in dollar bills. And he came up, the first thing he said was, it's time to get paid. But the talent's there. I like him as a talent. But to give you some perspective, Zay Flowers had his suit laced. It was lined with pictures of his family. So take whatever you want with that. I'm out on Addison. I mean, I'm going to draft him. I'm not going to not draft him because of that. But I got JSN as number 1. He might not have the best rookie year. And is that the reason you got him ranked higher? Is just because he has Jefferson on the outside and just not as much target competition because JSN got Lockett there for about a year, maybe 2?
Well, listen, I'm just going to be honest. I I don't know if I fully buy into the JSN hype all the way. This dude had one good year. He was the third best receiver. This dude was the number 3 receiver on that team. Even last year, this dude, there's an argument that he's the third best receiver on that team last year, even though he was banged up. So we got 1 year production. It's really just one stretch of production. It's like a last 4 or 5 game stretch. Jordan Addison, big body of work. We're talking multiple years. We're talking Pittsburgh. I mean, what is Pittsburgh doing? You know what I'm saying? But they had the best wide receiver for 2 or 3 years. So I don't know. It's just me. It might be a little overhyped for JSN, a little underhyped for Jordan Addison.
Well, Addison was playing with Kenny Pickett, who's an NFL quarterback, and then he transferred as soon as he left, which that tells me a little something about his attitude altogether. Anyway, he did take a lot of money. I remember listening to something. He made millions of dollars by that transfer with USC paying him out. So I wouldn't say I wouldn't have done the same thing, especially to play with Caleb Williams, which we need to have a talk about that eventually. About why. No, not just that. It's the fact where everybody always says that the next draft and the next quarterback is always better than what's came out now. Like, oh, we got Caleb Williams next year. He's, better than C.J. Stroud and Bryce Young. It's like, but I'm gonna go. I ain't gonna go on a tangent about that. But
I agree with you, by the way.
You do. And I thought they do it every single year, man. Every year.
And here's another thing: like a lot of people are down on this class, which I'm a little lower on this class too. But there were still some pretty good parts of this class. We still got 4 quarterbacks. We still got 4 receivers. That was first round draft capitals. Got 2 running backs. You know what I'm saying? Tight ends was this was a good class. So but yeah, whatever. I ain't even gonna. But yeah, I got Addison, JSN. But listen, one thing I'm gonna say about JSN. It might be a little tough year 1. He will have a good year. He will be good from here on out. Like I'm not gonna hate on JSN at all. He's good. He's a good player. There ain't no doubt about it. And Seahawks, they seem to know what they're doing up there. Pete Carroll's got it going on, and they invested in the offense. So
yeah, I did see a report today where JSN said that he can play, and he will play more. He's more than a slot receiver, but Pete Carroll came back and said this year you're going to be playing in the slot. So deal with it. I do have Addison ranked number 2 though, which I don't think a lot of people do. So the opportunity with Justin Jefferson just taking all the coverage away it's wide open. You couldn't ask for a better landing spot. And these receivers really, the more you look at it, they really did go to some good landing spots. At the time, it didn't seem like it, but when you think more and more about it, about how old Tyler Lockett is leaving, probably a year or 2, and even the Quentin Johnson thing with Keenan Allen and Mike Williams being old and injury prone. There's some pretty good landing spots here. And I like I said, I got JSN at number 1, Addison number 2. And we can talk about these other guys if you want to.
Yep. 3, 4, and 5 I'll just go 3 and 4. I got Quentin Johnson and then Zay Flowers. Quentin Johnson, to me, listen, I like Zay Flowers. I'm like Zay Flowers as much as anybody. And but Quentin Johnson, to me, he just wins this little go around between these two just because of spots matter. I think they really mainly matter when you're like you got a group in the same tier. You know what I'm saying? You got a tier of folks that you wouldn't mind taking any of them, but hey, I'm gonna take the one with the best landing spot. But there's obviously other situations where the talent is way better than the landing spot. You know what I'm saying? Quentin Johnson got a good landing spot. Maybe, I'm just saying I was starting to fade Quentin Johnson a little bit. Maybe it's a possibility we might have faded him a little too much, but he's about to be linked to Justin Herbert. Keenan Allen's getting old. Mike Williams can't ever stay healthy. So I think this was a big win for QJ. I think it was kind of a big win for Josh Palmer too. I'm not gonna lie to you. Not a big win for that, but I'm just saying we're gonna see a little thing. Things are gonna be a little different with the Chargers. What I'm saying, eventually.
Yeah, I think Palmer's a major loser. I mean, I disagree with that, but I mean, wish in one hand, whatever. You get these guys going later in the draft than you wanted to, so they went in the 20s. Like JSN kind of slipped a little bit, but you can't complain too much because they all went to good teams. Like everybody wanted JSN maybe to go to the Packers with Jordan Love, or one of these other receivers to go higher, like to the Texans or something. And it just didn't work out that way, but it probably ended up better because maybe they're playing under, like you said, Mike Williams, Keenan Allen, or DK and Tyler Lockett. But Quentin Johnson is going to be the number 3 in this offense to start the year. And we all know, like you said, Keenan Allen, they're older, they're injury prone. They're going to find a way to get the ball in this guy's hands. And in the future, if he shows any sort of stability out there on the field, he's going to be great for fantasy. So I got him ranked 3rd, like you said. And Zay Flowers, I like Zay Flowers before the draft over Quentin Johnson and personally Jordan Addison, but he went to Baltimore. And the question I got to ask you with Baltimore is he better than Rashad Bateman? Is he going to be – if he can beat out Rashad Bateman and be the number 1 receiver in this offense, he's going to be – he could put up Hollywood Brown numbers. But Rashad Bateman is still kind of unproven himself because he's been injured, and the times he's been on the field, it's looked pretty promising. But I think that's the main question is if you want to draft Zay Flowers over – some of these guys we ranked higher on the belief that he could be the number 1 receiver in this offense.
All right, look, I'm going to say some things right here that I think a lot of people are going to disagree with, but I think I can't say Zay Flowers is going to be better than Rashad Bateman, but I just think the offense as a whole is going to be better. But I think Lamar Jackson is about to show everybody. Listen, I don't know what it is. The narrative for him is he can't make throws. I do not buy that. I've never bought that. Not in college, not in the NFL. Stu Lamar Jackson, I think he's about to. I'm not gonna say what did he say the other day. He wants to throw for 6,000 yards. That shit ain't happening. But Todd Monken, what's his name? Crab man.
Yeah,
You're a dog.
that's it.
Uh,
Yeah, Monken
coming in. I don't have the numbers right in front of me, but all the years he was in the NFL, he was real heavy on the pass. Still, Lamar Jackson's he's about to support 2 wide receivers. Andrews is still going to be involved. This is all going to be, this is going to be a good offense right here. Everybody's going to be eating. That's how I see it.
Yeah, I think out of all these guys in redraft that we talked about, in redraft, Addison is the pick. I don't think JSN, Quentin Johnson, or Zay Flowers is going to be super productive in year 1. But I do think I agree with what you said about Lamar Jackson. If he plays every single game this year, he has a 50-50 chance of being the QB1 this year with his rushing upside. So super high on Lamar. The only thing about Flowers is you got Andrews, you got Bateman, you got Odell. Right. You got Flowers. He could be the number 4 in that offense. He could be the number 2 in that offense because Mark Andrews is the number 1. I mean, right. I think we disagree on that. But if he's the number 1 receiver in that offense, it's just it's just a totally pendulum outcome of where he's going to end up. He could be way up high or he could be, a bottom feeder, especially this year. So, but this tier right here I don't think is disputed at all, right? These top 4 receivers, nobody's putting these other guys over them.
Nope, that was pretty much chalk right there. Jordan Addison, JSN, Quentin Johnson, Zay Flowers. We're all in agreement, except for you got JSN above Jordan Addison, and you're a little lower on Addison than I am. But we're both high on Flowers, and we both like the landing spot for Quentin Johnson. That's perfect breakdown of them top four guys right there.
Yeah. And I
Anything
think
else before
about
we move on?
Addison, like Addison, if you're like a guy like Ian who just don't like the interviews and stuff like that, which it does come into play. I mean, if you want to pass on Addison, that's fine, but I don't like it when somebody comes up and says it's time to get paid in their
Right.
interview. But like I said, out of all these rookie receivers, Addison's the number one redraft guy this year for sure.
Yeah. I'm with you in for the most part, especially real football. Fake stuff, I can let it slide.
Yeah,
But
I'm half and half.
all right. Number 5. I got Jonathan Mingo, drafted in the second round. He was catching a lot of buzz before the draft. But hey, 22 years old, 6'2", 225. Not really that much competition as far as like the future goes. Like I know they brought in some veterans. They got DJ Chark, they got Adam Thielen. But he's gonna have a chance to grow with Bryce Young over there in Carolina. So Carolina, they seem to be, they're not like the Falcons, who's just a shit show all the time. They're a little more buttoned up organizations. So Jonathan Mingo at 5.
Yeah, I got Mingo at 5, and that's all based on draft capital. These receivers in our rankings have changed drastically from the film we watched because, like we said, draft capital means more. Second round is a just great place for a receiver to land. And with Mingo, I've heard a lot of comparisons with AJ Brown, Traylon Burks, that type of receiver. The landing spot's okay. It's not the best, but the draft capital has got him boosted up above these other guys just based on the competition around him and the draft capital. So
Right.
that's the only reason I
Agreed.
not that high. You can't put a second round receiver outside of your top 10. I mean, you just can't do it.
Yep. We're in agreement there. All right, I'm gonna go 6. I got Marvin Mims. 7, Rashi Rice. 8, Cedric Tillman. Um, Marvin Mims is just, you know, a lot of people like the film on this guy. I mean, heck, I liked it too, I guess. I mean, goes to Denver. Sean Payton's up there. I don't know if I necessarily believe uh, in the Russell Wilson comeback, but I don't know. Marvin Mims at 6. What you say?
Yeah, I got him down at 8. Got Rasheed Rice up there. Marvin Mims, I am really high on the talent. I think he is a blazer. I mean, he can get open down the field. He'd have been great for Kansas City. He didn't go there, but he's going to be fine eventually. There've been a lot of trade rumors with Jerry Jeudy and Sutton, but Jeudy they did pick up his 5th-year option, so he'll be there for 2 more years. And then Sutton seems like the guy that could be out. The Broncos didn't have a lot of draft capital. They lost a lot of their draft capital with the Russell Wilson trade. So their very first pick in this draft was a receiver. So with a new head coach and who's the other guy? KJ Hamler they got, who's supposed to be the burner. He's been
Tim
injured the
Patrick.
whole time he's been there. Yeah, Tim Patrick too. It's a pretty crowded wide receiver room. That's why I got him ranked a little bit lower than you, but um, he's a great shot in your second round, late second round that you can take in rookie drafts and just because, like I said, it's a new head coach and they drafted him with their first pick in the draft, so they obviously are going to try to get this guy on the field probably immediately. So I do like it.
Yeah. 7, Rashi Rice for me. Went in the second round to the Kansas City. I think you just move him up. You got draft capital linked with Patrick Mahomes. My opinion of this wide receiving core is just a big old clusterfuck, just little random parts out there. K. Tony, Sky Moore. Who else? Not Rashi Rice now, but hey, Rashi Rice, 6 foot, 203 pounds. Had him a little not good career at SMU.
Yeah.
What you say?
Yeah, I got him ranked at 6 just because he's tied to Mahomes and the wide receiver talent. But the wide receiver talent around him is okay, but not great. Patrick Mahomes pretty much makes everything in that offense. Like I said in the previous episode, I think he's the Juju replacement. And Juju had some very good games last year. But I just see this as more. I got him ranked at 6, but the reason I got him ranked so high is because I can see a path where if he becomes Patrick Mahomes' main option, then that's almost irreplaceable. But it's a very small chance that's going to happen. He's probably just going to spread the ball around. I mean, it's Travis Kelce all day, every day. But as far as receivers goes, all he has to do is beat out K. Tony and Sky Moore at this point. So probably not going to be a whole bunch this first year, but I just think it's a good dart throw because half of these guys aren't going to pan out. So might as well take the guy who's playing with Patrick Mahomes.
Right. Agreed. I kind of, with my next guy, you don't even have many top 10. I got Cedric Tillman. I kind of use that same attitude towards Cedric Tillman. Like, give me the guy. If you buy into Deshaun Watson, going to step it up this year, at least somewhat back to himself, which I do believe. Cedric Tillman, 6'3", 215, one of the bigger wide receivers in this draft. I've seen big wide receivers succeed with Deshaun Watson. So this is obviously a shot in the dark. There's a lot of players I'll take ahead of Cedric Tillman, but big body, Deshaun Watson. There's some competition up there, but Amari Cooper's up there. Peoples Jones and Joku. So but Cedric Tillman.
I guess David Bell is not the guy, right?
No,
you were pretty high on David Bell coming out last year, right?
I ain't gonna say I was high on him, but I was definitely willing to draft him. No doubt about it.
I know why.
Yeah, I was. Even throughout the year, I was saying, "Yo, buy low on guys like David Bell." But heck, that's over with. Hey, you win some, you lose some. So
he was in the ACC, right?
Nah, Big Ten, Purdue.
Oh, okay. Never mind. I thought that might have swayed your attitude on David Bell, but a little bit more about college than me. But yeah, on the losers episode coming up, he's one of the losers. But I don't have Cedric Tillman in my top 10, so I don't. I do think that Deshaun Watson is going to take a step up, but being the third receiver in this offense with Nick Chubb being the main guy still. Super high on Nick Chubb this year in redraft, by the way. It's gonna take a little while. Peoples Jones ain't great by no means, but this offense just got to take a major step up for him to be relevant. So he ain't in my top 10 right now.
So who was your 6, 7, 8?
Well, I got Rashee Rice with 6. I got Jaden Reed at 7, not because I'm a Packers fan, but because he was drafted in the second round to a position on the Green Bay Packers that they do not have. He's going to start right away. Amari Rodgers from Clemson, sucky college team, sucky players. You just do not take people from Clemson. Shit does not work out. All right, Amari Rodgers. Gone. Randall Cobb. He rode Rodgers' coattail to the Jets. Matt, if Aaron Rodgers runs for president, Randall Cobb is going to be his vice. I'm just going to go ahead and tell you that. The blue-eyed demon, man. That's Randall Cobb. But the slot position in Green Bay is wide open. And you got Christian Watson, Romeo Doubs right there. He's going to start right away. It doesn't matter what you think about his college tape or anything else. Second round draft capital. And Gonna start right away. Probably gonna be returning kicks. Well, they did resign that badass we got, but he's just gonna get immediate opportunity. So I like that fact, and that's why I got him ranked so high.
Yeah, I'm honestly, I'm just gonna have to take your word for it, man. I don't really know much about Jaden Reed, uh, truthfully.
I don't
Michigan
either.
State, though. Second round. I mean, I was kind of surprised. Second round draft pick though, so they obviously like something. The thing is like I'm not saying Christian Watson obviously number one. I'm not saying I'm like high on Dubs, but or Dobbs, however you say it. But he's solid, solid wide receiver. So got a little bit of competition for that number two, but yeah, can't deny the draft capital for sure.
And just the
Jordan Love
position
too.
in the slot. I mean, he's going to be out there. There's no way to keep him off the field. We don't have a slot receiver. We have zero.
Yeah, and I guess if people might have some trepidations about Jordan Love. Not everybody buys into him like you do. The little Packers over there.
I don't buy
But
into him. I think it was time. It's just
yeah,
time to move on.
I'm with you. I agree with you on that one. All right. About 9 to 10, I got Josh Downs and Jalen Hyatt. Who you got at 9-10, Crab?
Josh Downs and Jalen Hyatt.
All right, Josh Downs. Josh Downs. Heck, I mean, he ended up with the Colts over there with the. What round was Josh Downs drafted in? I can't remember.
The third
Third
round.
round. So people like Josh Brown. That was one thing I texted a kill. I watched this film. I was watching this film. I liked it. I was like, I like the film. First thing a kill said was this dude's like 160. So I think that's really what drew me off because I mean he was only like 171 at the combine, and he's bulking up for that shit. So this dude for reals in the 160s. Also played with two pretty good quarterbacks. But I could see if Anthony Richardson is really going to be what people say and he develops as a passer. Josh Downs, I could see it somewhat, but I don't know if that's all going to happen. So that's why he's 9 and not like 5 or something. Like a lot of people are super high on. Some people are just to the moon high on Josh Downs, and I ain't that.
Yeah, I mean, I got him at 9. I am not confident in this one. This guy, there's a 50-50 chance you can just light fire to this pick. Just burn it, throw it away. You'll never see any production out of Josh Downs whatsoever, based on the fact that Anthony Richardson is not a prolific passer. Prolific ain't even the right word. He's not even a competent passer.
Right.
He's a fantasy darling because of the way he runs the football, and that's the reason I picked him so high in my rookie draft. Is based on the fact that rushing yards from the quarterback is just tremendous. But I'm down on all the Colts receivers: Michael Pittman, sell; Alec Pierce, sell; and Josh Downs is a number 3 on an offense that doesn't have a quarterback who can pass, who has very bad accuracy throwing the football. So,
Right.
I mean, I got him at number 9, but I don't have anything positive to say about him because I just don't. I got to put somebody there at number 9, right?
Right. Yeah, that wide receiver class just starts dwindling down, man. That shit wasn't deep. It was a top heavy class, no doubt about it. But the next one will round off our top 10, and I got Jalen Hyatt. So do you. New York Giants. I'll say this: there's some opportunity there. I'll say that the opportunity is there for Jalen Hyatt. I just never really bought into Jalen Hyatt. I just think may have. I think I'm not saying this is true, but I'm just saying that he may have been a product of the offense that was ran up in Tennessee. It's air raid. They're lining up. They're spreading out way wide, and they're throwing the ball constantly.
Yeah.
So this dude was breaking open, wide open all the time. So I don't know. I kind of buy into that narrative more than I buy into Jalen Hyatt personally.
Yeah, and I do like Jalen Hyatt based on the fact that I mean, you say he plays in a gimmicky offense. You know, he did have good production, but everybody just hates that Tennessee offense for some reason because they lined up. He was in stack. He never really got pressed. So that's like the main thing that the scouts were looking for. That's why he dropped to the third round because a lot of people were saying he could go in the first. So, I mean, I would take the shot on Hyatt, but the wide receiver room at the Giants is crowded. It's not good, but it's crowded with a whole bunch of like the same caliber type receivers. I mean, you got Darius Slayton, Wandale, Hodgins. I mean, the list just goes on and on. So,
I think Jamison Crowder signed there, I think.
yeah, Jamison Crowder. So they got to.
Oh.
I guess they're just going to line slot receivers back to back to back in the slot and just go because these guys are all slot guys. But I mean, you can't hate on the guy for producing. I mean, even if you say the offense he was in, I mean, you put somebody out there that ain't worth a shit in a gimmicky offense. If they ain't worth a shit, they ain't gonna get open. So you can't knock the guy for getting behind defenses all the time and scoring long touchdowns. So I think it's a good shot late in your draft. See if he continues that deep threat mentality. I mean, he still has to work on his route tree a lot. He didn't run a whole lot of routes at Tennessee, but it's not something that you can't learn at the NFL level. But not real high on him, just based on the offense and the crowded receiver room.
All right, real quick, Kraft. Let's recap it. At number 1, I had Addison at 2, JSN. 3, Quentin Johnson. 4, Zay Flowers. 5, Jonathan Mingo. 6, Marvin Mims. 7, Rashee Rice. 8, Cedric Tillman. 9, Josh Downs. 10, Jalen Hyatt. What about you, Kraft?
Yeah, I got JSN, Addison, Quentin Johnson, Zay Flowers at number 5, Jonathan Mingo, Rashee Rice, Jaden Reed, Marvin Mims, Josh Down, and Jalen Hyatt to round it off.
All right. So before we go, some real shots in the dark. We're talking about blindfold, turn them around, shot in the dark. Got a couple names. Kayshon Boutte. Never was high on Kayshon Boutte. Me and you pretty much said we ain't drafting him no matter what. Dude's in New England. I'm not saying they have the best offense. Mac Jones is the best quarterback, but they do got an offensive coordinator. I'm just saying you could get Kayshon Boutte for cheap. He broke out at a young age. So, take a shot. I wouldn't feel good about it, but,
He's a Zach Evans of the wide receiver class. Yeah, he's the high school recruit, the early breakout, and then kind of just slowed down after high school. But from everything I've seen about Kayshon Boutte when he was in 2021, he was having a massive year. I remember watching the film on him when we were doing our breakdowns, and the announcers during the game in 2021 was like, "This guy's going to be a first round wide receiver." Right. He is incredible. So this is the type of talent that he was at one time, but you don't like to see regression in the college game from year to year. You want to see players getting better and better. So that's why he fell.
I mean, he just fell off in college, had a terrible pre-draft process, all that, jumping 29 inches and shit. All bad. Another one I got, Xavier Hutchinson. Houston Texans. It's kind of wide open up there. I have heard that Houston's high on John Mechie, and he did go in the second round in a very good class of wide receivers. So, but Xavier Hutchinson's 6'2", 207. What you say, Kraft?
I like the pick, but I think I would go with Tank Dell if I was going to go one. They're kind of doing some weird stuff too, because Xavier Hutchinson, he can play on the outside a decent bit, but he played in the slot a lot. And then you got Mechie, who is a slot guy, and then you got Tank Dell, who will definitely, if he does play in the NFL will be a slot guy. He's only like 5'8", like 170 or maybe 160 something. He's a really small guy, but incredible route runner. So you got Xavier Hutchinson for the Texans, and I got Tank Dell. So hopefully one of them pans out.
All right, last one I got right here. This is the shottest. This one's this is the shottest of all the shottest right here. Justin Shorter, 6'4", 223, 5-star recruit out of high school. He went to Penn State. Penn State ain't, even though their quarterbacks are making it to the NFL, barely. They're not NFL caliber quarterbacks. These are like literally, these are college style, run the ball. Like, you know what I'm trying to say, Kraft? These are college style quarterbacks. Like, when you watch these guys play, they're not, these guys are like fighting for the extra yard and shit like that. Like, that's what Penn State was rolling with. He was nothing up there hardly. He goes to Florida. They ain't buttoned up at Florida. They've had one good year since Tim Tebow. I always have to bring that up, man. One good year since Tim Tebow. A long time. So I'm just saying, this dude's big. He was highly recruited. Shot in the shot of the dark.
Yeah, I ain't got no shot. I don't really have no shots in the dark. I do. Hey, I mean, he just ends up with a great offense, and the size is crazy. I got to ask you a question. Like, we were just talking about the Texans and the Giants drafting a whole bunch of small guys. The Chiefs have been notorious for it. Is this just the way the NFL is going to go? Do we have to adjust the weight and the size of these guys and just throw that to the side, or are we gonna still kind of approve of the 6'2" Mike Evans type receivers?
I guess I don't know, but I'll just say we should just be. I feel like me and you had. There's definitely sizes out there. Like, if you're this, and this, they don't want you. But I feel like me and you hadn't really been like that. So I don't know,
At
man.
running back, I'll always be like that at running back, and unless you're incredible at catching the ball at running back, then you can be a little smaller. But I'm not that high on, running backs that weigh under 200 pounds. But receivers, I don't know, man. Jalen Waddle, very small. He come out, he's a stud. Justin Jefferson ain't big. He's probably like one in the 180s. Jamar Chase is massive, but there's a lot of these guys that come out year in and year out. Devontae Smith, 170 something. So I don't know. It might just take me a couple more years to be higher.
You know how it is, man. This world is soft. Everything's just turning softer. That's all it is. NBA's soft as cotton nail, man. Football just making its way towards that. We're just getting a little softer. The little smaller guys can come in and play now.
Is it soft? Speed. They just want speed. I mean, the Chiefs have succeeded with speed from day one, really. I mean, since Andy Reid's been there, he's always go back to Andy Reid in his Philly days. I mean, Deshaun Jackson was incredible. So he's always wanted speed on the field. That was back then when when there wasn't as many penalties and everybody was hitting the hell out of each other. So
that's true. Yeah. Yep, I'm with you. I guess it probably is. Well, heck, this is the class to they had a lot of small guys. I was about to say this class had a lot of small guys, so we'll just see. Hey, 3 or 4 years, and we're looking back like, damn, this class was pretty good. Well then, me and you will just
drop the size altogether. If this class ends up succeeding, you got these Zay Flowers, Jordan Addison, Josh Downs, all these Jalen Hyatt, all these tiny guys. These guys succeed. I guess we need to start changing our opinions a little bit on smaller receivers.
That's one thing me and you gonna be. We ain't gonna be stubborn, man. We're gonna be open minded. We're gonna let it play out, and we're gonna see the evidence come in, and then make our opinions from there. So, I know some people are stuck in their ways.
Speak for yourself. I'm stubborn as hell, but
man, shit. Let's get on out of here, man. We're gonna wrap it on up. that was all. Hey, we done broke down every rookie. Well, not every rookie, but we done went through every position. So check all our episodes out. Get ready for your rookie drafts. They coming up. I haven't had one rookie draft yet. I'm getting that itch. I'm ready. I got a few coming up. So crap, man. Anything to say to the folks?
Yeah, I got to ask you one question before we get off because we've been talking about all these rookies. We've done the breakdowns, we've done the rankings, everything. Which rookie in all of this class, tight ends, running backs, and receivers, which player is going to be the next just Justin Jefferson, Jonathan Taylor? Which guy? I know I put this on you like spur of the moment.
All right. Here's what I'll say. I'll just talk about. I'll say Bijan, I guess. But that's
The easy
obvious.
pick.
But hold on. I'm gonna say a lot of people, even though he got the draft capital, I think Jahmyr Gibbs can really be the next Austin Eckler. I think that's a possibility. And I don't know about wide receiver. I'm not gonna say I'm skeptical. I think Zay Flowers is gonna do better than what a lot of people think. There's some people higher on Zay Flowers. I don't know, man. I don't really see that. Jahmyr Gibbs, that's about it. That's the main one.
Yeah, I'm kind of with you on that. Outside of the receiver class, the one that I think is just could just boom completely is probably Quentin Johnston.
Yeah.
If he's the guy that you want to really take the shot on for being just an extreme athlete, that'd probably be my guy. I mean, as kind of I wouldn't say a sleeper. He's still like top. He's in the first round of rookie drafts, but I can see him being great, or Jahmyr Gibbs with the pass catching. It's going to be incredible. I don't even want to undersell how good. I don't want to undersell how good Jahmyr Gibbs is going to be with the Lions. DeAndre Swift was straight up incredible with the Lions when he was on the field behind Jamal Williams, and Jahmyr Gibbs could have 100 receptions this year. I mean, it's not impossible. I'm not projecting that, but he definitely could have, I would say, at least 70. So Jahmyr Gibbs he could easily be the RB1 this year, why everybody is drooling over Bijan.
Couldn't have said it any better, Kraft, man. I'm with you, man. We'll get some rookie mocks for everybody out there. We'll get a couple rookie mocks out there for everybody, and we'll really stack it up. Get a couple extra guys on here with us. Really break it down. Really stack it up. Let everybody know how we feel about these guys. But other than that, man, follow me at Hamm, Craftman Pack Fan. Add the podcast, man, and then tell your friend, and then tell your friend, and then tell them to tell that friend. And other than that, I think we good. What you say, Crab?
We good, man.
All right, man, and we out.
Peace.